when you're pitching to customers, they do buy individuals. They obviously buy the product, but they buy into the individuals. So I think if you're not pushing content out, you're slowing yourself down.
But yes, you can have a team doing it for you. Yes, you can have talented people, you can hire those people. But I do feel like there's something special about the founder talking about the business he's got and the passion he's got about that business.
Yeah, there's nothing more authentic than that, right? One of the things Stephen Bartlett tells me, and he's told me a lot, is don't talk to me about getting better at your content. Don't talk to me about this post. Don't share a post with me and ask me if it's good. All I'm interested in to know is I want you to tell me when you get to your 1,000th post. That's all I want to know.
And one thing that you specifically mentioned is employer branding. And I want to touch on that because I've not seen it mentioned anywhere on any agency website. They might be, but I've not seen it.
Large-ish, small to medium organization based in Jersey, you've got to push out content. You've got to be very present. You've got to be online. You've got to be in front of people. And I'm a perfect example of someone who can start a business from Jersey, but then turn it into 6 countries, 200, 250 people working with some of the best brands in the world. It's not easy. It does take a lot of flying. It does take a lot of work. I'm trying to put this really clearly without offending anyone. If you want to be comfortable, you can stay comfortable, but you won't do anything exponential. Like, nobody I know that is super successful is normal. No one. I know so many successful entrepreneurs, I couldn't say none of them sit in the comfort zone. None of them.
Leo Harrison, welcome on the show, Brands and Leaders.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, great having you. I mean, we've been trying to organize this for a while. We had some AC issues. You are a busy man, running a business worldwide, and we finally made it.
Pleased to be here.
Yeah, amazing. So just give us 2 minutes about yourself, for people to understand what we're dealing with here today.
Okay. So Leo Harrison, founder and CEO of Chapter 2. Chapter 2 is an embedded talent consultancy, effectively. What we do is we go into businesses and build them a talent ecosystem to help them find the best talent in the industry. We've got 3 pillars to our business. We put amazing people inside our clients' offices that scales up and scales down. We have our own proprietary technology that allows us to do things faster, better, quicker. And we have our own in-house employee branding agency that helps attract the best talent to our clients' offices. We're predominantly in New York, London, Berlin at the moment with 4 or 5 other sort of spoke locations. I've been doing this for 6 years. However, I've been building in-house teams for the last 25 years. Prior to that, we built a very successful advertising agency called Oliver. That grew from 4 of us to 3,000 people, 40 countries around the world. That was Chapter 1. And Chapter 2 is called Chapter 2 because I couldn't think of anything else to call it.
Well, it does feel like a Chapter 2 for you. So
that's literally it. Yeah, that's literally it.
Amazing. So you started Chapter 2 right before COVID. So it sounded like an amazing idea, and you just went for it. But pandemic happened, and then everything went down the hill. So how did you get out of that? What did that teach you about resilience? Because I'm sure there is something about it, that didn't make you give up.
Yeah, I think one of my main traits is resilience, right? I've lent into many sort of storms in my career, and this was probably one of the toughest. So coming from a very successful business, 3,000 people, I knew every fabric of Oliver. Put my notice in just after we were acquired, and I thought this is a great time to see if I can do my own thing. I was very well trained by my mentor, and I thought, yeah, let's give this a go. I wanted to solve a problem that I felt at Oliver, which was talent acquisition, recruitment. I felt it was slow and expensive. So I built a business and a proposition that helped us do it better. And I launched that and called it Chapter 2. I was highly excited. I was ready to go. I had my first clients, and I thought everything was going to be sublime, brilliant. I did my leaving do at the end of 2020. I launched the company literally 6 weeks later in February 20. I had my leaving do in 2019, and I started Chapter 2 in February 2020. We all know what happened in February 2020. This thing that started in China came to Italy, Europe, swarmed the world. And all of a sudden, all of the opportunities and the meetings I had got cancelled, postponed, declined, because everybody's getting made redundant or furloughed. I immediately had one of those moments where, have you ever seen in the films where like the background zooms in and you're looking straight thinking, what have I done? That's how I felt effectively. I thought I'd made the biggest mistake of my career. However, I gave myself effectively 6 to 9 months to try and get this business off the ground. It was just me in a presentation, really. That's all this business really was. It was a concept and me. And what else was I going to do other than sit at home and do nothing? Well, I thought the best thing we can really do is talk about the business on LinkedIn, create content. One of the biggest Achilles heel for me in this industry as well was I switched industry. So I had no network. So I had zero network to lean into. So I effectively just pushed content out for 6 months. Content out on the proposition, content out on what we were doing, content out on how the business was unique. I pushed content out on my experiences, and I started to create a bit of a following. From there, it got to June 2020, and there was nothing, dead silence. I sat in the garden with my wife, kids are playing, it was a lockdown period, and I thought to myself, this is not my time. This is not my time. I'm not going to be able to do this. So I said to my wife, Zena, I said, I think I need to go back to Oliver with my tail between my legs. They'll mock me for 6 months, but I'll get my old job back. She said, keep going, push it to the end of the year, do 1 year of this. And if it's after a year, yeah, I'm with you, give Oliver a call back. So I pushed it on, and we won our first client in October 2020, which effectively gave oxygen into the business. And my strategy with Chapter 2 is just to reinvest all the profits back into the company to make it an amazing company. I'm not trying to build the biggest business, but I'm trying to build one of the best businesses, you know. And all of the profits from this business get reinvested into our technology, our international growth, our content, amazing people, amazing talent. And from there, I just reinvested. And then the hockey stick of 2021 came along, and there was a huge market of opportunity, and all of a sudden we were flying. And within the following 9 months, we were 70 people in 3 countries.
It's something about having the right people at home as well. Like you mentioned about your wife, you know, giving you that extra push, we could say. Because I can see with my wife, you know, she always believed in me. Yes, this comes with trust. Yeah, you got to prove that you are worth of that trust.
Yeah.
And I guess, you know, she knew that, you know, you'll do great things. But something that I've seen on your website, which, by the way, like for people that want to go on it, you know, it's not your typical recruitment agency website where you just have like, well, here are the roles we employ for, like, you know, give us a call and all that. It's not quite, it's not even close to that. And one thing that you specifically mentioned is employer branding. And I want to touch on that because I've not seen it mentioned anywhere on any agency website. They might be, but I've not seen it. How does that work? You know, how do you bring that extra value to the businesses you work with?
I think the concept of employer branding in Chapter 2 is born from the fact that I personally believe that candidates and people will move the company they're working for, but not the office they're working in. Most businesses work from home, right? A large amount of the time. Yes, a lot of people are coming back to work now, but actually everyone works from home. So how can you portray, if you're looking to create candidate attraction, how can you create that window into your world that candidates can look into and see and feel and believe that that's a place that they can work and find friends and find their new family effectively. So everybody's on their phones, you know, all of the time. We spend probably way too much time doing. If you looked at my screen time, it's horrendous, right? And this is the window. The phone is the window into the world of employer branding. So I strongly believe if companies are not pushing out content to talk about how amazing their company is to work for, the stories that they've got within their business, they're not articulating a real place to work. They're just spraying and praying job ads effectively. So a large part of what we do, and we've actually built an agency around this called C2 Signal, which is more signal, less noise, because there's a lot of noise in marketing and employer branding. We believe in creating authentic content, real stories from that business that push out to the world of potential candidates. And it's kind of like nudge theory, if you like. A candidate's in process for maybe the businesses we're working for versus their competitors when it comes to talent. The content will nudge them in the direction of our customers.
Yeah, I guess it's people coming to you, not necessarily you hunting all the time for the right people, right? If you look like a place that, you know, that's doing the right things basically, and you're pushing the right content, you are seen as a dream employer, and I think that's what you're trying to do, right?
Yeah, I think the reason why we look so different to any other recruitment company is I believe the Rolodex is dead. Databases are dead. You know, they're just dated, stale, dead things. And most recruitment companies will know that when they get a role, they go to LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a broad brush, right? So LinkedIn is the database. And I genuinely believe if LinkedIn is the hunter way of going and getting talent, but if you want to be a magnet to amazing talent that's aligned to you, employer branding is the way to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. But obviously, yeah, you came to this conclusion, based on your huge experience, working with in Oliver and all that, and you realized that very quickly when you launched Chapter 2. But do you think there is also the reverse, where employees should have a brand to be appealing to the dream jobs they wish to go for?
Yeah, I 100% sign up to that. I'll tell you the reason why. Any hiring manager, and we obviously deal with thousands, any hiring manager looking to shortlist candidates will look at the CV, but in all honesty, where they're going to go first? They're going to go to LinkedIn.
True.
Right? They're going to go to their LinkedIn page and they're going to see what they're engaging with, what they're reacting to, what they're commenting on, what they're posting. And the hiring manager is going to look at that and make a judgment. And if that content is aligned to that hiring manager, aligned to that industry, is highly impressive, that's going to help you in that interview process. So I genuinely believe that everybody should be, creating a personal brand. And I think that everybody should be pushing content out there to give themselves a best reputation. We live in an online world, right? This is 10 years ago news. Like we've been digital for over 10, 15 years. And I think the biggest challenge actually is going to be authenticity online when it comes to things like generative AI.
Yeah, very true. And that's what I believe almost like the last frontier, at least in my vision, when it comes to especially video, because that's what we're mainly focusing on here. It will be live streaming. I think for a while we'll be able to probably live with that, just making it as authentic as possible. You'll just say, I'm going to meet you online at that time, and it's going to be me. It's not going to be a replica of me or a clone of me. So I think that's going to be very powerful. Yes, video still is at this point, but it's getting blurred now slowly, which is scary. I don't know what to expect from that. Part of the employer branding is document your people, which I think is actually really important. How do businesses go about that? How was the process when you say document your people?
When you say document your people, you mean promote them, or?
Yes, in that style. Yeah. That's if I remember well, I've seen it somewhere, either on your website, or someone posted a while back. But yeah, in that respect, yeah.
I think a business is, by definition, a group of people. Effectively, it's made up of a group of people. A culture is made up of a group of people. And there is no better endorsement of your business or brand than the people in your business that are working there. There's no better endorsement. So, I've believed for a long time that employer brand budgets are literally a shade of what they should be. I believe employer brand budgets are overlooked when it comes to a marketing allocation. It should be seen as a marketing budget, not as an employer brand HR budget. And I think business is getting better because companies are realizing they need to attract diverse talent as well to their company. And one of the ways to do that is to use your own staff, your own people, and put them on a pedestal and promote them through the company. And when I talk about telling stories, I think that one of the best ways and one of the most successful ways that we've ever done employer branding for our customers has been to just bring in people that work for that company, put them in an environment like this, and just ask them to talk about their career, ask them to talk about their job. And from that, you will just pull out all the reasons why that person loves to work there. And that is the best marketing you can't buy. Yeah. It's the best marketing you can't buy.
Yeah, absolutely. And what we realized, at least, because we dealt with quite a few companies here locally, is that you'll have a lot of these people that obviously when they sign up, when they are probably great accountants, they are great managers, they do great in their job. But as soon as you put the camera in front of them, they are shy, and which, they did not sign up for that to begin with.
Yeah.
But as soon as it's a conversation like this, if it's a talking head, they are terrified. As soon as it's a conversation like this between two people, it just felt a lot more natural. They open up. It's just so much easier. So that's why we recommend this kind of style of communication, even if, let's say, it's between a manager and an employee. And why do you work for us?
Yeah.
What do you like about us? And it's just so much better than, okay, this is the script. make sure you look straight into the camera,
Yeah.
and you deliver each one of the words correctly, and
Yeah.
and it just don't sound like them.
Well, that lacks authenticity, right? You may as well
True.
get an AI agent to do that for you. If you want someone to follow a script, you can get an agent to do that now, and you can create a AI twin and get them to do it. I think I've actually experienced this personally because we represent some of the most fastest growing technology businesses in Europe, right? And
Give us a few names, for people out there.
Bolt, as an example. We worked extensively with Bolt across Europe.
Yeah.
We work with Zalando in Germany. We work with IG Group in the financial services sector. More locally in Jersey, we've helped Altum Group expand their employer brand and content and personal brand. My wife is the CEO of it. It's no secret. My wife's the CEO of Altum Group.
Yeah, but you wouldn't get the job if you're not good enough.
The funny is,
probably the criticism is even higher.
I'm a free consultant to my wife, but she's also a free Ned to me as well. It's quite good. Going back to like the partnership and stuff, like we support each other, and she will regularly ask me for advice on like the posts and the content and what I think about this, what I think about that. So I'm absolutely a free resource for her. In return, she will help me with strategy, governance, the proper corporate business stuff. Yeah, it's a good trade, right? It's a good trade. And she's like my unofficial Ned. So they're the company. We work with a number of companies. And the Crown Estate, the King, is another one in the UK.
Oh, wow.
Which is another one. It's a great brand of great business. And we talk a lot about how we should put these people in front of the camera. Now, I'm telling you, we work with these successful tech companies. In technology, the senior CTOs, chief product officers, they're introverts. They're not charismatic.
That's very true.
Put me in front of a camera type. So they hate it. It's the opposite to what they want to do. You can take a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, right? So you got to find the people that want to do it, can do it naturally. We found that a really strong blend between the hiring managers that want to do it and the senior leadership team is a really good blend of the people to put in front of camera.
But do you think that if the founder is not there, talking about the business, they're missing out a lot on what the marketing could mean for that business? Because I do feel like it's almost like your duty to be out there.
Yeah.
If you got, yes, you can have a team doing it for you. Yes, you can have talented people. You can hire those people. But I do feel like there's something special about the founder talking about the business he's got and the passion he's got about that business.
Yeah, there's nothing more authentic than that, right? I'm a perfect case study for it. I push out maybe 4 posts a week on LinkedIn. I have a personal branding team. I have a personal branding expert that helps me with my own branding. She helps my narrative. She directs my content. She shoots my content. She edits my content, and she encourages me to have a blend of authentic content that we might talk about Zena, my kids, my life. It's not all sunshine and rainbows, building your own business. Then it's like authority that we'll talk about what I've learned working with companies like Bolt, like IG Group, to name a few. And then there might be some more jovial, fun C2 cultural stuff. The idea being is that viewers can get an overall picture of what we're about, what I'm about. And when, especially from a founder-led business, when you're pitching to customers, they do buy individuals. They obviously buy the product, but they buy into the individuals. So I think if you're not pushing content out, you're slowing yourself down.
You see, it's very interesting because in most cases in Jersey, I'm not saying 100% because there's always obviously here and there, you have a few percentages of founders, being out there and being present online. Yeah. But you are here, and most of the founders I know in Jersey are here.
Yeah.
Because one of the things is like, we're relying on word of mouth. We don't really care as much, about doing content. It's a small place. We'll just deal with, doing a good job, and people will find us. What's your answer to that?
I think if you want to do that, that's fine. But you're not going to build a big business with that level of attitude. I think if your ambition is to build a successful, large-ish, small to medium organization based in Jersey, you've got to push out content. You've got to be very present. You've got to be online. You've got to be in front of people. As I said, we look at these screens, these glass pieces of, plastic, 7 hours a day.
Yeah.
Sadly, and you need to be in front of these guys. You need to be in front. You need to be front of mind if you want to build a business. And I'm a perfect example of someone who can start a business from Jersey, but then turn it into 6 countries, 200, 250 people, working with some of the best brands in the world. It's not easy. It does take a lot of flying. It does take a lot of work, but I've done it, and there's nothing really special about me. I just resilient, work really hard, and just, grind.
Something interesting that I've seen about you, which you posted not long ago, I think, on when you were in London or something, that you were filming yourself on the street.
Yeah.
And you said that, this is actually uncomfortable, and, it probably it is for
it is horrible.
Yeah,
I hate it.
it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I can only imagine. But you still do it because it's beneficial for your business, right?
I mean, success is built outside your comfort zone. As simple as that. It's not comfortable being successful. If you want to be comfortable, just you won't make a massive difference in your. I try and put this really clearly without offending anyone. If you want to be comfortable, you can stay comfortable, but you won't do anything exponential. Like nobody I know that is super successful is normal. No one. I know so many successful entrepreneurs. I couldn't say none of them sit in the comfort zone. None of them. So you got to success is built on outside your comfort zone. And I was in New York when I was doing that.
Oh, right.
And I was literally walking down the street with my phone like this. And to anybody else, I felt an absolute Pringle. Like I looked like a Pringle. But actually, when you're actually on everyone loves it. It was okay. And it was actually a really good piece. But I looked absolutely ridiculous. And I'm walking around talking to myself because I'm doing it with the headphones. And, literally people are looking at me like, what's this guy on? But do you know what? The way I look at it, I couldn't remember what those people even looked like. They forgotten me 3 seconds after they saw me. So what does it matter?
Yeah.
Just do it. Like, 'cause they've forgotten it. And if it's crap content, by the way, if you go back through my LinkedIn and it's still there, go back to 2020, the content is horrific. It's so bad. But Stephen Bartlett, one of the things Stephen Bartlett tells me, and he's told me a lot, is don't talk to me about getting better at your content. Don't talk to me about this post. Don't share a post with me and ask me if it's good. All I'm interested in to know is I want you to tell me when you get to your 1,000th post. That's all I want you to know. Get your 1,000th post and we can talk. And I post every week. I'm on probably 200 or something. I know it clear. But his point is, you get to that 1,000th one and you start looking ridiculous, but you end up looking not quite Stephen Bartlett, but you look pretty good.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. So I've got the way I started. Not that people want to delve too much into that. I started with cooking. I have a cooking channel.
Oh, nice.
I started a cooking channel 6 years ago.
That's cool.
I don't even know how many. I've got hundreds of videos now. So the main reason was for me to improve my English and be more comfortable, in front of camera, which I was terrified of.
Right.
And it still feels a bit uncomfortable every here and there. But you know what? I realized that if my English is not perfect, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
As long as people get the message, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Especially for the cooking, it was an easy way for me to start because I'm like, people are here for the cooking. I'm not here that much for the quality of the video. As long as they can hear me okay, which at the beginning, probably they couldn't. Some of the videos were absolutely terrible, but it's exactly as you said, I look back now and I'm like, oh my God, look at me.
It's like going back and looking at your school photos, right? It's like, oh my God, what was I doing? And it's exactly the same. I was going to say I was going to say something on that point. I tell you, I mean, talk about imposter syndrome. You don't like going in front of cameras. When I'm doing anything with Stephen, I'm on stage in front of 350 people. I'm being recorded by 6 or 7 cameras, and I'm interviewing one of the best interviewers in the world. I mean, I was absolutely petrified.
You can't be under more pressure than
as much as I know the guy, and off stage, off camera, he's an investor and we get on great. I can't help but be nervous, and he's great and all that sort of stuff. But I have massive imposter syndrome when that sort of thing happens. You just got to keep. If I'm not outside my comfort zone, I'm not learning. If I'm not learning, I'm not becoming better. If I'm not becoming better, then I'm not building a better business. If I'm not building a better business, then I'm not becoming successful. And if I'm not being successful, I'm not hitting my own goals, But having said that, people in Jersey, to your point originally, if they don't want to do it, you can't make them do it. People don't naturally do this stuff. If you saw me 10 years ago when I was at Oliver, I really just didn't like sales. And now it's all I do is growth and sales, I was quite sort of happy inside the operations of running a large advertising agency. I was a chief operating officer. And my job was to run the operations of the business, not sell it and be on stage, But I had to do that. I had to push myself out of my comfort zone and get comfortable with getting out there, pushing it, because no one else is going to do it. It's just me.
Yeah. You mentioned Stephen Bartlett for everybody. Well, it's not like he needs any other descriptions. He's a partner in this business.
Yeah,
with
he's
you,
investor.
right?
Yeah,
investor in
yeah,
this business.
Yeah.
Seeing what podcasting. So we are firm believers here that podcasting, can change a lot of businesses, and more people should do it. Seeing what podcasting has done for him, brand wise.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on podcasting?
I think, podcasting is one of the fastest growing and one of the most exciting media channels and outlets there is out there at the moment. I think, what was people listen to radio, people listen to audiobooks, people listen to CDs and music, people listen to podcasts now. So I think podcasts are now up there with a consumption and listening channel that has probably come on the scene within the last 10 years, rapidly scaled in the last 5. And I think that if you have got something of interest to say and talk about, then people will listen. The distribution of that podcast needs to be good, because the one thing I learned in advertising is the best place to hide something is on the internet. You need to put it in front of the right audience. It's a fantastic way of getting people's and holding people's attention.
Yeah, no, absolutely is. Stephen, obviously he's done very well for himself. You know him for, I don't know how many years. Is it like 6 years or
6-7 years? Yeah.
7 years. And do you think that was a huge benefit for your business, bringing him on board? I guess both from the image of the business, but also his experience. Do you think that was a huge benefit for you?
Absolutely. I mean, if you turn back time and said, would you do anything differently? I'd do everything exactly the same. I knew what Stephen could bring to the business. His ability to create and see a vision is absolutely fantastic. And I could recall conversations with Stephen where we were, a couple of years ago, talking about chapter 2, and he could see things that I couldn't, which was really, really good. So that was the one thing. He has got a lot of, he gets the benefit of seeing inside all of his investments and many, many businesses. So he's seen a lot, and he brings that to the table. In addition to that, he's interviewed the best entrepreneurs in the world. There doesn't get much. So he takes that, and this is almost like educating him to become a better businessman. These podcasts as well. So he's got a phenomenal brain. He's got a phenomenal level of experience, and he brings that to his investments, which is obviously We Are One. He's also really passionate about talent and recruitment. He believes that we as leaders should be recruiting all the time.
I just saw the other day that you posted that you're recruiting for his business, right?
Yes, yeah, we are. Yeah, we have three marketing roles. Absolutely, yeah. And so he spends a huge amount of his own time doing recruitment because he believes in finding the best talent. So the stars really aligned for us. The background between Stephen and I was that when he was at Social Chain, I went up on the Social Minds podcast in 2019 and happened to be introduced to him by the team. And we, had a conversation that went on for, a good couple of hours. Went back, kept in touch, but distantly so. He wanted me to come work with him at Social Chain at the time, and I was so locked into Oliver that I from an equity perspective, it wouldn't have been worth my while. We stayed in touch again, and in 2023, he reached out and said, "Hey, look, I'm interested in attaching my narrative to a business of talent. I want to build a talent business," and we threw around a few numbers. And I got excited, and he got excited about building something that was, in a talent space called Chapter 2. So Chapter 2 was on a growth trajectory already, but he's accelerated that with his brand and his support.
Yeah, you mentioned that you met Stephen on a was it podcast? You said podcast, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't meet him on the podcast. It was his
but he was.
He was in the office. Yeah.
So what we realized, something that people don't really see these right away. They only see the podcast as something that you send to your followers, you send it to the social media, but there is also the value in the relationship. I like to believe that after this conversation, we're not strangers anymore.
No,
right?
Of course, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so it's not like, oh, I just contacted you on LinkedIn, you completely forgot who I am, or I completely forgot who you are. it's that relationship that you build with the people that you've got in front of you. And I think that's really overlooked for most businesses. And you can use this podcast medium, to get even your dream client. You can use it to get your best client.
Yep.
You can use it, because after this, yes, there is the huge benefit for us. Let's be honest, to have you here. You're a great communicator, but at the same time, I like to believe that with the content that we create here, we can give it to you. You can push it on your social, and we both win. So it's not. It feels right.
Yeah. So let me tell you my observations on that, because they're very, very strong. I believe that podcasting has got a number of it's got a number of benefits to it. Yes, you can create a podcast and a brand. Not every podcast is going to be the Diary of a CEO. In fact, no one's ever going to create that again, really, right?
But it doesn't even need to be in most cases.
It doesn't. What I find, and what I believe podcasting can do, to your point, is everybody likes to have a ability to share their experiences, and everybody's got some level of an ego and likes to talk about their expertise and put that out there, right? And when you offer that to somebody, i.e. potential clients, they generally say yes. So what I did, and I learned this from a guy called Sean Anderson, and if you've got a recruitment network, your recruitment company should look this guy up, because he taught me the first thing on this, which was, he's got a company called Hoxo Media. They got a podcast and they train recruiters to do this stuff. And basically, what they say is that you should bring potential clients onto your podcast to talk about the subject matter that they're expert in, right? Not knowing that that's effectively client meeting number one, right? And what you do is you give them the assets like you're going to give them to me. They'll push it out. They'll feel great about it because it's really good content, it's high quality, and it's win-win. From there, and I've done this, you say to the customer, hey, look, thanks for that podcast. We got amazing results from it. Can I buy you lunch to say thank you? Meeting number two, right? And then from that point, you then start. And I won 2 or 3, 4 pieces of business when I had my podcast. I'll be honest, I'm terrible at podcasts. The reason why I don't do it anymore is I can't do what you can do, which is ask me a question, be disengaged, but think about the next question on there, because I couldn't do that. I can't multitask.
I'm still learning, and the thing is, what I realize, the absolute best podcasts, watching them, not necessarily something that I created, are the questions that are coming as a follow-up questions.
Yeah.
And that's the most difficult part, for me. Yes, you still have to have something almost like in your mind, but at the same time, the most important part is listening to you, because I'm here to hear your story. Why would I just be focused on this and without being engaged here? I feel like that's the disconnect. And sometimes there is a conflict between, I think I should ask that, but you say something else.
Exactly.
And that's where you kind of need to think fast.
Yeah, you do. And I think what people also need to recognize about podcasts it's a long-term game. It's not a short-term game.
Yeah.
So everybody sees the Chris Williamsons, the Diary of CEOs, the Joe Rogans, and that's like the all-time, right? Yeah. It takes a serious amount of reps to get there, i.e. episodes. So you're going to have to do thousands and be good at it to get anywhere close to that. But these guys have done the reps. If you look at and Steve publishes this, if you look at the amount of episodes over time that Stephen's done from day 1, 0, well, it is literally, listen to the numbers, like low, bang.
Yeah.
It literally you literally feel like you're doing nothing. He's doing nothing, and most people give up. He carried on, bang.
Yeah.
It's nothing. Then it goes. So, so I think anybody doing a podcast or any kind of sort of media, it's not one and done, And there's a guy called Alex Hormozy.
Yeah,
we work with Alex Hormozy as well.
Oh wow!
Exceptional individual, been hugely successful. Got his own podcast as well.
Yeah.
And
the game.
That's it. Yeah. and he will tell you about the number of failed meetings that he's had, the number of terrible presentations he's done, but all of those terrible things that actually feel terrible mounted up to an exceptional individual that looks flawless on stage. And it takes that. We're all human. We all go through this stuff. I'm learning as well. I'm somewhere on that journey, right? But these guys have gone through the trenches of learning how to do it. They've made the mistakes. They've cocked it up. They've, everything from, stage fright through to forgetting what you're talking about through to just absolutely messing it up. They've all done that. But it takes that to be able to get to the point of being exceptional at it, because you learn from your mistakes.
Yeah. And it's something about podcasts that, people shouldn't really count it as views or shouldn't really count it as subscribers, at least in my opinion. Because if, let's say, you have a business podcast and you obviously help people, not just think, oh, how good we are, listen to us, how good we are. Next episode, the same thing. Obviously, nobody's going to listen, and that's complete failure. But if you get, let's say, 10, 20, 30 people, and if are the right people, you win. If the goal was to win in business, not on the media side, that's still a win to me. And I don't think brands and leaders, first of all, because I'm not as amazing as these communicators are. I know, and I'm not saying I'm starting as a complete failure, like a dark mindset, but it will never be, as big or even 10% or 5% as big. But we're already winning with this podcast, to be completely honest. We have guests that are that we work with. We have built a brand around it, like small, but for Jersey, we're not planning to move to London with it. We are very local from this perspective, but we're still pushing content as much as we can. So there is ways to win with podcasts without getting like hundreds of thousands of millions of views, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so. I think again, it's all about you've got, when you're creating any kind of media, whether it's a podcast or a piece of content or a film, if you focus on you and how your product and how brilliant you are and how it does this, how it does that, it's not going to go anywhere. You've got to think about the viewer and the listener. What are they interested in doing? And when you tune into that, that's when they tune into you, And again, another lesson I learned from a guy called Gary Vaynerchuk was,
big fan,
huge, amazing guy, right?
Yeah.
He, one of my team members had him on his podcast. He's got a podcast called The Jets in New York. And
he's a big fan of the Jets.
Yeah, well, my friend has got a podcast dedicated. An employee and friend has got a podcast dedicated to the Jets, and Gary went on. It was fantastic. But the point Gary makes is like, and to be blunt, no one gives a fuck about you. No one gives a fuck.
People are selfish, and
you've got to give a fuck about them. You've got to give them something. You've got to give them something that they get value from, and they in turn will give you their attention, right? And that's really, marketing, whether it's employer brand, a podcast, it's attention seeking. That's it. We're attention seekers at different levels, right? And we want people's attention, and we thrive off those people's attention. And to gain that attention, you've got to identify who your audience is and give them something that's of interest to them, whether that's a podcast that they'll find interesting, a piece of content they can learn from, or even just a very simple statement. One of my biggest posts that went viral was literally a screenshot about something personal, and it resonated with so many people. It hit like hundreds of thousands of impressions, and I didn't even realize, but it was because it was so thought-provoking to other people that it got so much attention.
The one that I've seen, which I've got a note for, when you mentioned about you traveling and the hard price, some places have to pay.
Guilt.
Yes. Yeah. I thought that was deep. Yeah, and then it's real, right?
It is.
And it's about that. You don't. You leave that.
Yeah.
It's something that you leave. It's not like, oh, let's get ChatGPT, to tell us about this, about that. You feel that probably every day.
Yeah.
Because it's a price to pay. And how do you feel about that? How do you feel like? Because I've got a daughter myself, and I feel like, yes, I should be there, but at the same time, I should be an example. And I think to set an example, I want her to have both options.
Yeah.
And if she wants to go that route, if she wants to go the other one, I think she wants to also see me as someone that is hardworking.
Yeah.
Because I think that'll benefit her ethics.
Yeah. So to answer your question, the dad guilt is a constant tension. It's a constant tension that pulls on you, that you have to find a balance to, and you have to maintain that tension. I had a coach for about a year, and all I cared about were three things. And all he coached me on were, how are you being as a father, a husband, and a CEO? They're the three questions he asked me, because they're the three things I wanted to keep in balance. There was my health and wellness as well, because without that, everything was gone. But the three things I care about the most are, am I being a good dad? Am I being a good husband? And am I being a good CEO? And he constantly asked me, like, how are you as a dad? And I'm like, I haven't seen my kids in a week. How are you as a CEO? Oh, great. I've just, spent a week in London, and there's a balance that you've got to create. Now, I think that's a good tension. That's a positive tension, I think, because there are entrepreneurs that actually just don't care and don't keep that imbalance. And that's okay. That's fine. And they're probably more successful than me because they are hell-bent, and you have to be...
Yeah, but they just focus on 1 out of 3 probably.
And in all honesty, the most successful people are sometimes the most selfish because that's what they focus on, right? But I'm trying to keep that tension. I'm trying to keep that balance. And yeah, that post that I did it's genuine. I actually count the nights. Just in my head, how often have I been home? Okay, cool. Okay, now I can justify going to London for a week. So I'm here all week. Like, I'm in Jersey all this week. I'm then going to Monday, I'm in London. Tuesday, I'm in London. Wednesday, Berlin. Thursday, Berlin. Friday, back home. That's a long week away. I'm not going to say good night to my kids for a week. Okay. But then Saturday, I go to Mallorca with them, and they'll just have dad. So the CEO parked on the bench, dad and husband for a week, right? And I think anybody who wants to create that harmony needs to think about those 3 things. And, sometimes I'm a good husband, sometimes I'm not such a good husband. And my wife keeps me very much in check on that front.
She being, the level she is, does she struggle at the same? I mean, obviously
Massively.
Yeah.
She gets the mum guilt, and there's a second level to her, and I'm being stereotypical here. I don't mean to be, just for the point of landing a message. She will see the other mums on Facebook going for beach walks, and gosh, I don't have my friends. Like she's missing out on stuff.
Yeah.
She'll see events that she can't go to. We'll both miss school things sometimes. We try not to, but we sometimes miss them. So she feels it too, and we both have that tension that we kind of prioritize. Now, I encourage all of my team to take the holiday. I take all of my holiday, probably a little bit more than I should, because I sacrifice so much. I will make sure that I have the holidays with the kids, and we have really good holidays because I just want to create those memories. And finally, on that point, if I keep that balance in check, and we cherish and prioritize the kids when we're prioritizing the kids, and we prioritize each other as a family, we'll become a really good family unit. We will manage to balance all of it together. And the kids, the really important point which you mentioned, the kids will see that behavior and hopefully mirror it. Because I don't want them to be. I want them to be whatever they want to be, but I'd like them to be, self-driven, successful, self-starters in life, and realize that, and just know that their holidays, the way they travel, doesn't come easy. It takes work, and they see that work.
Yeah. I mean, the more I've been in business, and it's not like I've been forever. I'm not coming from an entrepreneurial family. It's kind of like I'm almost like the sacrifice, generation of sacrifice almost, that's got to go through this and hopefully make it. But the more I realize, talking to people like you or other people that are successful, is that it's not really such a thing like work-life balance, the exact word, it's variations of it, or it's seasons. You got, like, as you said, you're going in London for a week. Well, then when you come back, you try to make up, for your time away. So that's how we kind of balance everything. You can't have them all at the same time, and you can't focus a lot more on one than the other, because then, it's like juggling with 3 eggs.
I agree. I mean, you can look at it as work-life balance, or you can just look at it as balance. I look at it as just balance. I don't think I'm working now, I'm home now. I balance everything, and that's really, really important. Just balancing it all. So yeah, when I'm working, I start work at when I go to the airport at 6 a.m, and I'll finish late at night when I'm with clients in London or Berlin or New York. When I fly, I'm always working. But when I'm home, I'm home. I don't believe in stereotypical work-life balance, 9 to 5. Then it's home time. I believe in just balance.
Yeah. But he's also coming with a lot of, I guess, self-discipline.
Yeah, a lot.
It should be a lot of that. And also something I realize is at least in my case, I know there are people, people that burn out, yes, there are people that go through those stages. But in my mind, it's always well, I've not even made it. I've not been on fire. How can I be burned out? There is a saying, someone was saying something like this, that you can't be burned out if you've never been on fire. And I'm like, it's always in my mind. I'm like,
I mean, I don't know how I feel about the term burnout, or because I've never felt burnt out, and I've actually never come across anyone burnt out, so I can't really comment on it.
Yeah.
But personally, I think some of the feelings that I've had, I could have labelled as burnout, but I've actually I'm out of balance, or I'm not liking what I'm doing.
I guess it's all about perspective as well.
It is. It is. There is genuine burnout, and people do that. But I think you've got to love what you do. You just got to love what you do, because if you don't love what you do, and you're not running to work, that is a jail sentence.
Yeah, true.
Now,
talking just a tiny bit about AI, because we can't have a podcast these days without it. How do you prepare, your children, the way you think about AI, for the new generation? How do you prepare them, whether they're going to be the new employees or they're going to have their own businesses? What is important for you? Because I started to think that, at least in my case, my wife might have a different feeling, but I just feel like the current system, like the way the people are taught, it's way out of date.
Yeah.
What do you do differently, or do you have something that you do differently, to prepare your children for the AI?
I mean, yes, we do. Our children are very much exposed to AI all the time because they're growing up with it. I'm actually not too concerned about the generation of our children, i.e. children from like just born to 10 years old. I'm not worried about them.
Because they'll be living with it.
They're living with it. It's like growing up with computers, right? They'll just grow up with it. They'll just learn to use it naturally, and it'll just be part of their calendar.
It's the
or
same
email.
like the internet for us.
It's same, exactly the same, right? So it will live among them. They'll just start using it naturally. My kids are already using it. They call it the lady in your phone. Can you ask the lady in your phone who the best footballer is? Yeah, that's what they say. So I think the kids from like 0 to 10, not worried about them. They'll grow up in this. The kids that are going through secondary school into college and just finished college, university, that period, that I'm mildly concerned about, because they've been trained for something completely different.
Yeah,
they've been trained for something that doesn't exist anymore, and the curriculum, and it's very easy to say the curriculum and schooling is not up to it. I don't think it ever has been.
Yeah, he's always trying to catch up, but he never does.
Tell me last time you used trigonometry.
I know.
I got tested on exam trigonometry. I never used it. So I think the schooling system has always been generous and slightly out of date. I think that you just have to expose your kids to it, and also not just your kids, your employees and your teams. You have to expose them to it. They have to be using it, and failing and trying things, and you just playing around with it. We use AI in our household a lot. I use Claude extensively. I've got Claude Enterprise across the whole of Chapter 2. All of our talent partners have Claude, from literally taking notes for every meeting through to building our own sourcing agent. So actually we don't have to do recruitment. We just LLM who we're looking for, and it finds it for us. We've built those products. So I think the generations coming into the workforce now are going to have a massive pivot. You look at the graduates. I believe, this is not an official stat, but I did hear that the graduate onboarding and graduate recruitment for a number of organizations is more than halved their intake, because they just don't need low-level or junior staff.
But is that a challenge for you as a business? Because obviously there's less junior people coming in, but then my question is how does it work for the senior roles? Because traditionally, at least, well, when you say traditionally, just a few years back, it used to be okay, you start as a junior and then you progress your role till you maybe are the CEO of the company. But you need to see all that, to be in that journey, to understand each one of the steps.
Yeah.
Because you can't just be, well, you can, but in most cases, you wanna see that journey before you get to the big job. How does that
Well, what does the big job look like now, right? So before, and I'll tell you why I've got an observation on this. I work with a lady called Dr. Michelle King, right? And she's written a number of books. And one of the things that she's taught me is in today's environment, or maybe up to 10 years ago, people paid and valued highly knowledge and intelligence, right? More knowledge than anything else. People bought knowledge. You can get anything out of that phone now. Anything. Knowledge is like that. Yeah, you can get anything. So where people used to charge $900 an hour or £900 an hour for counsel, advice, all that kind of like consultancy stuff,
it's all there.
It's already solved. You can get it. You can get it. Now it needs improving. It's not 100% reliable,
and you need to make sure that you get the right information.
But I'm telling you,
that's a different conversation.
The reliance and the market demand for knowledge, buying knowledge and paying a lot of money for knowledge, is going down, and the skills are changing, and it's the people that can master how to use those things are going to be the ones that win.
But then do you see, so we hear every now and then, especially US usually triggers a lot of these waves. And obviously the biggest AI models are in the US. We hear every now and then, layoffs, IT companies, layoffs here, layoffs there. Do you see a lot of that, through your recruitment process? Is it not as bad as it sounds, or is it bad?
I'd say there are a number of organizations cutting their cost base significantly because of AI. I think there's a case study out there for Klarna, who a number of years ago saw AI as the opportunity to get rid of their whole customer service team. Got rid of all of them, only to realize that customer complaints increased because AI wasn't able to handle it, and then hired 50% of them back again.
I think this is something you posted, right?
Yeah.
I remember seeing something.
Yeah, there's a case study on that. It's a paper that was written. I think there's another one with Shopify, but this Klarna was definitely a case study for that. So I think in my observation, what you're going to see is the macro level. You're going to see the population of organizations reduce, but still be able to produce the same, if not more, output. So, robotics is massive. Hardware is massive at the moment. So you connect AI to robotics and hardware, you can, create a fleet of robots that effectively remove factory work, warehouse work, and all of the blue collar work that's out there. There are a number of vocations that I think are certainly safe. Plumbers, builders, I think they're really safe. But I think you look at autonomous vehicles, right? Look in London. I'm traveling around London these days, and I'm to my left. I can look out the window, and I'm in a taxi. I can see an autonomous Tesla with no driver in it. Yeah, that's crazy to me.
Do you think that the next big opportunity as a business would be reskilling people? Probably.
I think that's a must. Yeah, I think adapting to the world of AI is going to be really, really critical. I think what's going to happen is the generations that come up with AI as their sort of all day every day must have, like the telephone, will naturally be able to use AI successfully. The ones that I'm concerned about are the ones today that have to adopt AI, and the ones that don't adopt AI will fail. I strongly believe that. So I think it is partially about reskilling, but it's just learning how to use AI to optimize what you're trying to do as a company, and how AI can help you be more successful. Now in Jersey, that's quite an interesting question, because Jersey is one of the most regulated countries in the world. It's one of the highest regulated in the world. And that's been previously a massive part of the reason why people will come to Jersey and run and manage their businesses from Jersey, because of the security and regulation around it. Claude and Gemini and ChatGPT are not tight enough, I don't believe, to pass that level of regulation. When it does, what's going to happen to Jersey? Because you've got companies that do just administration. They have their whole thing around administration. So fund administration companies, what are they going to do when they don't need a minute taker to sit on the board and do board minutes or review board packs and give observation on board packs? I can put my board pack into Claude now, and it'll push me out an executive summary and tell me what I should do with the business. When that gets into mainstream and it's regulated and secure, what's going to happen to the financial services industry?
Big disruption.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah, for sure. I think we can go for hours, but also you're a busy person. I'll have to let you go. But one thing that I want to end with is something that, you know, it stuck with me. It's a quote that I'm going to keep, by the way.
Okay.
It's something that you said, if you want to build a successful business, you need to step off the chessboard.
Yeah.
And what does it mean, you know, for a founder?
I strongly believe in this one. So we built Oliver, which was a people-led design agency. And we built that from 4 people to 3,000 people. Couldn't design a business card. I built Chapter 2, you know, a fast growth, successful recruitment talent business. I'm terrible at recruitment. Honestly, I'm really bad. I just like everybody. So there's no way in the world you want me doing your recruitment. There's no way in the world. And there's no way in the world you want me designing anything around your business. However, somehow I've managed to build companies that are very successful in those sectors. And the reason why I've been able to do it is because understanding what the customer wants and being able to deliver it, but not do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Through people.
Do it. Exactly. Hire the best people around you. Why do it? So bring the best practitioners around you and let them do their work. Like, create the environment, set the strategy, watch them work. That's the 3 things I say. And if the moment you get on the chessboard, I think that when I've done mentoring for people and I've supported consultancies, and the biggest issue I see all of these independent consultancies have is they are doing the work rather than building the business. And I say it every time. It's like, you're on the chessboard. You're governed by your customers' scope of work that they're paying you to do. But my customers don't pay me anything. They pay the business for my team and my resources, so I can focus on growth. So, you know, all I do all day, every day is play the game of chess. I can see where I'm going to attack, where someone's going to attack me, where to mobilize my troops and people, where the opportunities sit, and I'm bird's eye view to it. And that's the best way to look at it. The other analogy I'll give you is, and my boss used to always talk about this, you've got to act like a helicopter. You know, you literally, so you've got this helicopter, you've got this dashboard, you hover, and you got to hover at a certain level, like let's say 1,000 feet, right? You hover at that level, and you see the dashboard, and it's all green, and suddenly something drops and turns amber to red, and all you got to do is you got to hover your helicopter that little bit lower to go in, drop in the team, fix it, and then you come back up again. And that's all I spend my time doing, just hovering and into things. I trust my team to do everything, and when they need my support, I just hover down, support them, and hover back up again. And that's it. Create an environment, you know, set the strategy, watch the people work, and just bring the best people around you. You know, I think there's something to be said. While I joke about being a terrible recruiter, I have found some amazing people to help me build Chapter 2, and I'm really proud of everything that they have and we have done together. It wouldn't be anything without them.
Yeah, absolutely. The team is the dream.
It is.
So for people that want to find more about you, get in touch with you, where did they find you? Where are you most active?
LinkedIn. Yeah, come find me on LinkedIn. That's where I am. Yeah, and we effectively, our core proposition is to help people scale. So if you want us to help you build and run an in-house talent team, yeah, give us a call.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this conversation. It was great. Till next time.
Thank you for having me.
We will get you back.
Appreciate it.